Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Market Financial Solutions Let's Talk Property podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a moment to share a quick disclaimer. Market Financial Solutions are a bridging loan and buy-to-let mortgage provider and are not legal, financial, investment or tax advisors. This content is for informational purposes only and does not and should not be considered to constitute legal, financial, investment or tax advice or be relied upon by any person to make legal, financial, investment or tax decisions. Therefore, investors are encouraged to seek appropriate professional advice. The opinions and views expressed in this episode are personal to the host and guests and may not reflect the views of Market Financial Solutions. Now.
Hi, welcome to the Market Financial Solutions podcast. I'm Leah Brunskill, I'm the Deputy Chief of Marketing, and today we're going to be talking all about personal branding. So I've got a fantastic guest with us as well, so I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're about.
Absolutely, thanks for having me, Leah. I'm Shaz, I'm a mortgage broker, which is fairly standard, but I guess what I do is I create content around property finance. I work with investors, kind of help them start, scale and grow their portfolios and giving them the right education information they need so they are really literally not going to make expensive mistakes.
And yeah, it's a good place to start. So as you say, expensive mistakes. Well, you've built your personal brand over the last X number of years. You have to let us know if you want to divulge that without spending a penny on kind of paid opportunities, right? So how would you say that started and how did you get into it?
So I mean, I got basically in the space of 12 months, I got made redundant and then got sacked from broken jobs. And I think that was it. I was like, well, I'm not going to work for anyone else anymore. I'm qualified, so let's stick to this, but do it all by myself. So at that point, I had no clients, I had no brand, I had nothing going for me, but I knew I could do it. So I went all in, and I mean all in on networking, all in on posting on social media. I had a season of like 9 months where I would just say yes to everything. You know, do you want to I live in Wales, but it's like, do you want to travel to Birmingham, London? Yes. Because why not? And if I don't do it, someone else will. So my Instagram name or my kind of personal brand is Where's Shaz? And that was because I was everywhere. Everyone would be at events, oh, where's Shaz today? Where's Shaz? It became a great joke, but right now it's a bit tedious. But yeah, that was it. So I went all in because I had no other option really.
Yeah, fair enough. So what would you say is the one key moment over that time that you thought, either that you thought, yeah, this is going really well, or maybe you thought, oh God, is this going to work?
In terms of going really well, so obviously you have your warm marketplace, your warm audience, people that kind of know you, think they know you, which is great. But if I ever get asked to go on podcasts or content with people that I don't really know, I'll always be like, how did you come across my page? Or, you know, how did this happen? So I went on to like the BBC Radio and I was like, guys, you know, how did you come across my page? And they just said, look, we've been following you for a while. The time was just never right. So I was like, okay, that just means people are always watching. They're not ready yet, but they will be ready at some point. And if you stop, they'll move on to someone else. So that's when I knew it was going well. In terms of is it not going well, I think I always look at what's the worst that could happen. So I'm kind of a positive person that, okay, I post, it doesn't go well, I get no likes, no leads, nothing, but that's cost me nothing. It's cost me a little bit of time. So the chance of it not going well was never a thing. In terms of like people say your friends might find it a little bit cringy or whatever, I'm of the belief that you shouldn't want to build any kind of business off of your friends. If they support you, great. If they don't, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that leads really nicely into my next question, because I think there is absolutely an element of that. People going, oh, cringe. Oh, LinkedIn, cringe. We love LinkedIn.
Yes.
We love the articles. We love the posting, all that kind of stuff. So I guess what would you recommend to people that maybe think that now, but kind of do want to get out there and they do want to market themselves organically? Is there any advice that you would give them?
100% yes. And that's a good question. I think, first of all, a couple of things. Figure out where your ideal client is. So are they going to be on LinkedIn, or are they going to be on Instagram? Are they going to be on TikTok? Most people would say, yeah, they'll be on LinkedIn because they're professionals and stuff. But I think it's not always the case. I deal with a lot of younger clients who've been on maybe a training course and they're quite young, they've got no assets. They might be on Instagram because they want that visual kind of video platform. But yeah, you might get the more higher end or higher net worth people on LinkedIn. So figure out where your clients are and start there. But also figure out how you best are at posting. So you may not want to do videos. You may not want to post pictures. You might be really good at writing. We'll start on LinkedIn then.
No, it's a really good point. I think we found that even with some of our internal members of staff, fantastic marketers, salespeople, underwriters. But as soon as they get on video, they
freeze.
Yeah, and they go, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's completely
That's
fair.
absolutely fine.
Kind of play to your strengths, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that again leads in quite nicely to the question of authenticity. So, being authentic and how you be authentic to yourself. What role has that played for you?
It's not intentional, but I think I would say I'm pretty authentic in the sense of when I do meet people offline, they will always say, oh, you are just like you are online, which I guess ticks that box, right?
Yeah.
For me, I think, and I do have these thoughts sometimes because I see some people's content, I'm like, oh, really? Is that being authentic doesn't mean you post every single thing that's going on in your head. Do you know what I mean? There is like a bit of oversharing, or just like figure out what your end goal is. Social media is a shop window. It's not your door opening to everyone. And also, if you find like posting or social media a chore, that is because you're not being true to yourself. If you are just yourself, it is easy because you tell people what you do, you answer questions, you give case studies, which is all that you do day to day, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that. Yeah, if you're talking about things authentically as they come to you, you never run out of content.
It's not hard work then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's when you try and force something onto paper, there's where the ideas dry up. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, fine. So, social media. Is there anything else that you kind of want to cover on social media that we've not necessarily talked about yet? Because it's a big piece,
It's
right?
a long thing. I think in terms of, putting the effort in or motivation and something, I think, so I've got my own business, right? But when there's bits in the business that I don't want to do maybe, I then revert back to treating it like part of my job. Because when you have a job, you get told to do what you got to do and you do it. So you don't need motivation really to do things for your business. And it is just keep posting, being consistent. If you need some certain crutches, which is fine. So some people need like a schedule, winners Wednesdays and Monday motivation. Start off with that, and then move on to something a bit more organic. And also mix it up. So I do more on Instagram. So you can have like carousels, you can have videos, you can have talking head. Figure out what format works for you. So I like talking heads, talking directly into camera and doing that. What I don't like doing, and I find it a bit uncomfortable, is when people do like videos where they pretend the camera isn't there.
Yeah.
I can't do that personally.
Yeah.
I understand people do it. I just can't do it. If I see a camera, I'm going to acknowledge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just me. And I think, like we said before, just be yourself and lean into the kind of weirdness, because then you'll find the people that be like, oh great, this person's a bit like me and I really want to work with this person. And then I think the other thing as well is be more active in the DMs as well. So it's all good and well posting and you've got your audience, you've got your viewers, but actually genuinely be interested in other people and DM them and have a conversation. It doesn't have to lead to anything, but you just plant a seed, and as long as you're genuinely interested, which you should be, because people are posting loads of cool things, then they'll come back or they'll refer someone on to you when they're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. They're always watching type situation that you mentioned earlier. Yeah, absolutely. So kind of on to the next section of what we wanted to talk to you about today is the networking. As you said, you're here, there and everywhere, and you enjoy that kind of thing. So what's your approach? Networking is scary, right? For somebody new to the industry, maybe somebody younger, maybe somebody that's not as extroverted as what a lot of our industry might be. The extroverted personalities you see online, etc., etc. So what is your approach when you walk into a room of strangers to network? So
people don't believe me. I am super shy and I'm super introverted, I'd say. I can be extroverted in a controlled environment. So if I know 10 people in the room, great, we can speak to everyone. But then you just, like I say, revert back to it being part of my job. I have to do this, I have to have these conversations. Yes, you're shy, yes, you're introverted, but are you lazy? It just means you've got to put a bit of extra effort in.
Yeah, okay.
And then realise everyone's there for the same or similar reasons, I spoke at an event last weekend, and one of the things I shared was just kind of figure out what your value proposition is. So what is it you can offer someone else to help them in their business or their journey, and speak about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be part of your business. It could be something completely different. You could be good with a camera, so you could offer them photography. You could be good at video editing. You could offer that. It's just conversations that happen. But yeah, I think I also find still, even now, is I'm not good at breaking the ice. I'm not going to introduce myself. But once that's done, if someone else does it, then yeah, we can have a chat all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be yourself, be relaxed. Don't go in straight with business cards. Really basic things. I still see people doing it.
Yeah.
Just talk to people. And also what I do, and I share this on every podcast, is I do something called pre-networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, let's say you guys, MFS, are having like a summer networking event. You'll post about it online a few weeks before, months before, right? And then you might tag people who are coming, or they might comment saying, I'll look forward to seeing you guys there. What I would do is I would start messaging those people and say, oh, hey Jack, I see you going to the event, so am I, what do you do? This is what I do. Do that 5 times, you'll know 5 people at the event.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's not that uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so you've already introduced yourself essentially, so you're getting over that first hurdle. Yeah, nice. Okay. And I guess that's how the connecting with people rather than just grabbing all those contacts is not 100%. Going business card first in every conversation.
You know, they say in business that, the fortune is in the follow-up. I agree partially, but I think the fortune is in the introduction, because if you've had a bad introduction, the follow-up's going to be way harder.
Yeah.
So make a good first impression. People do remember. And I think people will always revert back. I get some messages on my phone, and it'll be someone I met like months ago, and they're like, oh, I just want to work with you now because the time is right.
Yeah.
So try and be memorable rather than more than anything else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's interesting. I've got to say, I'm not a natural networker either. I think that's something that's been built over time.
You know what you could do as well is adopt a role. So I do these little things because I see the benefit of networking, so I do it all the time, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. But you could adopt a role like the connector, or the plug as I call it. Mm-hmm. So you could be like, if we're in a networking event together and you speak to someone else and they're like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a mortgage broker, you can be like, you know what, meet Shaz, this is so-and-so, I'll leave you to it. And what that does, it kind of positions you as someone that kind of knows everyone. So you're seen as better than you are. And that's just little things I do as well.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess the authenticity part comes into that as well, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same across everything. That you go in being yourself, and it's much easier to be yourself than someone else.
100%. And that works because ideally you want to go to the same event, not just once, regularly. So maybe at least 6 months on the trot. So if you're putting on a persona, it's going to be really hard to keep that up. Yeah. You want to be known for something. You want to be known as that mortgage person or that lender or something. So be yourself, be approachable, and also just understand people are there for the same reasons.
Yeah. And probably if you're not a natural in those scenarios, that the rest of the room probably aren't either. You might have 100%. 1 or 2 people that actually love a networking event and will go for the fun of it, but everyone else is there to make new
you'll
contacts.
See, I think, obviously, because I've been to so many, you'll see people around the room. You'll see who's pretending to be on their phone. Yeah. You'll see who's just running to the toilets without any reason. Yeah. And I say, look, I mean, I've kind of now will go to people who are looking like that just to make them at ease. Yeah. But they could also approach the host. The host's job is to make people feel comfortable, connect with other people as well.
And what would you say, this is a bit of an out there question, but say you do get into a conversation with somebody, I find this happens, you've been talking to them for a little while, what's the natural out? How do you
want to
end
leave
that
the conversation?
Not rudely, but you just,
no,
that
it's
conversation's
cool.
kind of done, but who's going to walk away first, and how do you do that without the running to the bathroom
No,
situation?
so I would literally make it really clear, just be like, hey Leah, it's really, really great speaking to you. Just so I can make the most of this time, I'm going to just, speak to someone else in the room. Is that okay? Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we'll connect later. We will connect later on.
Honesty's best policy.
100%. And then you're fine, of course.
Rather than, I'm just going to nip. I just got a phone call to make. Yeah, no, absolutely. I would have been very guilty of that in my early networking days. I'd be very much like, I'm just going to go and pop a cup of tea or whatever. But actually, the honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, because again, you want to speak to as many people as possible. So do they.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Interesting. What's your next networking event? Don't say a lender's.
What am I doing? I mean, I've got a lender event this evening.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've got I'm speaking at an event actually next Sunday in London.
Oh, fun. Okay.
They're asking me to speak about personal finance and credit health. As an attendee, there's a few things I want to make sure it's worth my while, so I always try and organise it where it's not more than one in a week or something. So I can't really say for sure right now. My life is 2-week blocks. Yeah,
fair enough. And what would you say is one of the best networking events that you make sure you go back to? Maybe not each and every time, but you do return.
So there's a networking group called Savoy's Properties. They have these kind of social events. It's not so much educational. It's more of a gathering of people, maybe in a nice, they did a golf club last weekend, indoor golf, which was fun. I don't play, but everyone was just there for a good time, 300 people.
Wow, okay.
I'm pretty sure they said it was the UK's largest indoor golf event for non-golfers. It's a very specific way.
That is incredibly specific, but that's cool.
Yeah, but that was cool, and I'll make sure I'll go to theirs quarterly.
Yeah.
And then I went to a recent one actually. This was non-property. This was called the Creator Leaders Club. Mm-hmm. And it was more about creators, I guess, because I do video content, I kind of in that room. And there's people in that room with like really high net worth or really amazing creative businesses who've exited business for X amount of millions. And what I learned from that room was everyone just wants to collab with everyone. No one's like, here's my business, can someone give me some advice? Like, how can we work together to grow this? So that was really cool as well.
Oh, amazing. Okay, cool. 2 for us to note down.
Yep.
Fine. So yeah, we've covered kind of the personal branding and the networking side of things, which obviously you're a big part of. But back to your kind of day job, I guess. And
what do I even do?
Yeah. Yeah. So as you said, like, one of the first things you do is working with a lot of young people getting into property. So whilst we don't want to dwell on the negatives, I think it's a really good place to start. Is what mistakes do you see being made most consistently?
I think it's a case of having unrealistic expectations, and that is because they've been on a course where this person who is a multimillionaire is giving them advice from that perspective rather than you're 21 years old, you've got no assets, you've got a couple of credit cards and loans. You know, the journey it's going from A to 100 without the steps in between. So I guess from that perspective, I've got to be a little bit more realistic with them and say this is what you can achieve. But there is that kind of element of then, oh, Shaz is being negative, I'm going to ask someone else. And they'll always come back. You know?
Yeah.
They'll always come back. So that is realistic expectations. I think the other thing as well, and this does concern me in general, whether you're young or not, is I see a lot of people on social media raising finance from investors, which is fine, lenders are okay with it. But there is FCA guidance around sophisticated investors, collective investment schemes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it just takes one person to complain or say I've lost my money for things to fall down. So there is that as well. Yeah,
it's an interesting point actually. You know, see a lot, especially on TikToks, where I see most of the content where I go, oh, not sure about that. Do you think that's a problem? Do you think it's a growing problem?
It is, obviously, because I don't use TikTok as a creator, but I'm aware of it. And yeah, there's a lot on there where, like you say, I'm a bit like, ooh, you know, this is either just a clickbait or really bad advice, and it is positioned as advice. So the advice I'd give is, if someone is giving out information or advice, but they don't have a business on the back end where they can help you with it, don't listen to them. Because as mortgage brokers who produce content, we kind of stick with something that's more practical, because we have to then, if we get you as a customer, we have to follow through. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, interesting. And then you mentioned about raising money and things. So even before you get to that point, what do you think people have to have in place before they even start asking for that money, for investment?
They need to have a personal brand. They need to have something about them, because otherwise, why would someone lend them £50,000 over 12 months for 10%? You know, and people do. I see this happen. I'm like, wow. And lenders like, you know, make that make sense. I'm like, okay, this is actually what's happened. But so what people do, they document their journeys. They literally will be like, I'm a 21-year-old, you know, university student. I've just left my job, and this is my journey as a property investor. Whereas they're not an investor yet; they're learning. But I think you can bind to people that way, because it's like, okay, this person clearly lives and breathes property. Yeah. They're going to the right events. They're seeing the right people.
You can see the effort going.
You can see the effort. So even if they've got a track record, they've got effort. But I still think it's the risk. I wouldn't lend my money that way. Yeah,
no, for sure. And then in terms of, you know, background, in terms of, you can see them putting the effort in. Is there background there in terms of qualifications, in terms of, you know, things under their belt that, again, you would kind of expect to see? Yeah, not so much.
They'll give an unsecured loan with a personal guarantee, but that guarantee means nothing because there's no assets there. Yeah. In terms of like qualifications, they might have spent £20,000 on a property course, but that's just not a made-up course, but that's just
not
a course.
Certificated.
Exactly. It's not a CPD. It's nothing. It's just someone saying, "I'll mentor you. I'll train you to do what I've done." But like I say, it clearly works, because I deal with a lot of these people, and touch wood, they do treat other people's money better than they would their own. Yeah. And the deals are always stacking 99.9% of the time. So yeah, it works. But I am very cautious of it as well.
Yeah, for sure, that makes sense. Okay, so you know, off the back of that, you being cautious and, you know, having track records and things, what does sensible investing look like to you?
I think sensible investing is just purely treating it like a business, removing the emotion from it, and just, it's a numbers game. Do the numbers work? Do they work right now? And not hearing the noise a lot of the times, because I'll often hear, you know, I want to do this because what if this happens, or what if that happens, or I've heard my friend say this, or I saw this on something. None of that matters, because that isn't relevant to you as an individual. It's not relevant to you or your property deal. you're speaking to someone who's qualified to talk to you about it, so let's just deal with that.
Yeah.
So I am a little bit direct sometimes, and I get told I'm a little bit blunt, but you've got to be, you know. But yeah, it is just removing all of the noise and the fluff. It's a business, this is an asset, these are the numbers, does it work, is everyone getting paid off on the back end? The exit is really important, because the strategy that a lot of people do through myself is the buy, refurbish, refinance, you know, buy the worst house on the street, turn it into HMO or whatever and refinance. Can you exit? Because everyone wants this commercial valuation on the back end. It's like, cool, great. But what is it about this 5 or 6 bedroom house that you've got that makes it an investment? Could a homeowner go into it if you put a stud wall in downstairs? Because they just don't do that, live in it. And people don't really get that.
Yeah.
Or they do get it, and when you tell them what the rates are like for those deals, they're like, oh, that's too expensive. Well, you can't have everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Interesting. And you said about cutting out the noise, but do you think that anything could happen in the market that would change your opinion on that? Or is it literally about whether the deal stacks up and it will remain like that?
I am more a fan of just, does a deal work? Does it work now? Does it work for the next 2 or 5 years, depending on what you want to do? Are you a serious investor? As in, you've got your limited company, for example, you want to build a portfolio, and how does this factor into that? So if someone came to me and they had a portfolio, let's say, of service accommodation properties, and now they're doing social housing, I'd probably question them a little bit more, say, why have you suddenly decided to do that?
Yeah.
And if it's because, you know, Tom down the road is doing it, well, is that what you really want to do? Because it's, you know, is that your strategy?
Yeah, fair enough. Interesting. And I'm going to throw in a bit of a bonus question.
Okay.
Are you worried about the autumn budget? Obviously, it was announced, dates were announced yesterday, day before?
Yeah, 26th of November, right?
Yeah.
I do not worry about anything. in a sense of, you tackle what, you know, you deal with what comes at you.
Yeah.
Investors especially will always invest regardless of what's happening. I think it's just strategies might change. And we're seeing this right now, actually, is people looking at different things. So instead of just normal renovation, they might do flat conversions. They might do HMO conversions because the income is better. Or if you spoke to a landlord a couple of years ago, as a 19-year-old, for example, say, look, I'll give you guaranteed rent. Landlords usually would say no thanks, but now they're open to it because they just have to make money somehow. So changes always happen, the market always changes, but I don't think there's nothing to worry about. The property market will always be around.
Yeah, interesting. I think we see so much sensationalised news that you do end up getting caught up in it sometimes, and you have to take a step back and go, no.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? And it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. So, okay, so if you had to start from scratch again tomorrow, start your brand tomorrow again, what 3 things would you do differently?
Probably do things more of them. So one is definitely collaborate more. And I'm a big believer that collaborating, you know, you get a shared audience, you get the overlap, and you get your page or your profile exposed to a lot more people. So more collaborations. Secondly, I'd probably say yes to more things, which sounds really odd, but you know, there were certain things I'll say no to, but yeah, of course, why not? That's the answer, why not? So podcast, events, speaking, webinars at 8 p.m. in the evening, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And what else would I do? I would probably be less scared of showing my weird and wonderful personality than I was at the beginning.
Yeah,
I do it now, it's fine, but at the start I was like, yeah, probably not worth talking about desserts. I used to own a burger restaurant, I wouldn't mention it, and then when I did start, I saw people, oh, that's cool. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, so even diving into that authenticity even more so than just
100%. And I think just highlighting and maybe summarising a little bit is, people always say to me, does social media bring you leads, right? It's never as simple as that. By the time someone DMs me or sends an email or whatever, they'll say, look, we saw your post on social media, and we saw you on a podcast, and or we saw you at an event, and or we did this. So there's always 3 or 4 touch points. By that point, they want to work with you. There's no selling from my end involved. They don't care about the fees. They've learned enough about me, or they feel they know enough about me that they want to work with me. So that multiple touch points is, I think, really, really important from a sales perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, that's also going to become even more important as AI, you know, continues to be strong, especially in the social media world, right? You know, everybody you can literally say, make me sound like a property professional and talk about this.
Can I just, it's just a little flex. So, because I've got loads of content out there, if you go to ChatGPT and say, can you speak like Where's Shaz, and give it a question, it will put it in the way I speak.
No
yeah.
way.
Only because I've got a lot of content out there. That's what it is.
No, that is cool. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it makes it even more important, the face-to-face interactions, getting your message out on video, on podcasts, because you can't fake those things. You can't fake those real conversations, can you? So we're, as a brand, we're also trying to do more to get in front of people and have those
I think lenders need to do more generally. I think, look, do you guys take direct business?
Yes.
Fine. But let's say it's through a broker.
Mm-hmm.
If you've done some branding, and you guys do great, by the way, because I see you everywhere.
Thank you.
But like, if I recommend, guys, we're MFS lending on this deal, here's the terms. If the client's somehow seen you or heard about you somewhere, it just makes it easier. They're like, I'm aware of those guys. They might have sponsored an event or something. Whereas if you're a complete unknown, you're too good to advertise or whatever, it's not harder, but it's a case of you're the unknown. And then suddenly people go to Trustpilot, they see bad reviews because no one leaves good reviews. And it's like, no, trust me, I'm working with these guys.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think, branding is so important. And if you have to sell the brand and then the product, it's making your job harder. If we can do the first half of that, then kind of makes everything go slightly more smoothly. Okay, amazing. Is there any further comments that you'd like to make or anything that you'd want to end on?
I think just to repeat, people are always watching, so don't stop. The moment you stop, someone else will start and they'll be the ones to get the opportunities. Also, I believe in seasons. I'll have seasons of saying yes. I'll have a season saying not yet. I won't say no, but not yet. And with the yeses, again, it's just start taking opportunities, because again, if you don't do it, if you don't travel from Wales to Manchester, someone else will. Yeah. So why would you really want to lose that opportunity? Yeah. It's free advertising. Exactly. Yeah. My website's bare basic. Like it's the most basic website, because everything else comes through the brand. And I think I'm okay with that for now.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And if you just want to do a last little bit on where people can find you.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, it's Shazad Ahmed. On Instagram or the socials, it's the magic question, which is, where's Shaz?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate and share it. You can access our previous episodes in all of the usual places, as well as on our website at www.mfsuk.com/podcast. You can also stay connected with us on Instagram at MFS_LTP. See you next time.